Hi, my name's Anna from Anna Knowles Coaching, and today's story is about frogs. Okay, not the traditional story about kissing a frog and a prince and all the rest of it, but I learned the other day, and I probably should have really known this, that frogs can't sit on lily pads. Now, I thought this was something that frogs did because I'd seen it on probably Disney, which was where lots of myths come from, even though I do love Disney. Anyway, I learned that a frog can't sit on a lily pad because it would just sink and it would fall off. So I was telling this, once I'd learned this fact, I then told it to my children when we were looking at a little pond that had loads of beautiful lily pads on it. Um, and so they then decided to work out whether a little frog could sit on a lily pad or whether it was just big frogs that couldn't. And obviously we didn't have any frogs to try this out. So we, or they, got lots of little stones and kept picking up the stones and putting them on the lily pads and seeing when they could sink. It was quite interesting watching that sometimes they put a big stone on, and if it was in the middle, then that was okay. Obviously, if it was at the edge, then they fell off. They could put lots of little stones on, and if they balanced it out with the big stone, then that could float quite nicely. But if they then suddenly took away one of the little stones from the pile, then the big stone would sink. Now, all of this got me thinking, actually, this is what we do in life all the time. And everyone talks about balance and work-life balance and, yeah, just being able to manage everything. But it's a myth. It really is a myth. You can't balance everything. You just can't do it. So sometimes it's fine, and you can be that lily pad and it's sitting there quite nicely, and you've got something big on there and you can deal with that, and you've got all these millions of little things going on, and again, that's okay. But if one of those shifts, or you're not quite as settled, or perhaps one of the little things goes away, or one too many of those little things just builds up, and actually that's when it all falls apart. um, and so I just thought it was an interesting little story that we expect to be able to do everything, and we pile everything on, and we keep going and keep going and keep going. And sometimes it's something really little that happens, something really minor, that's when everything starts to fall apart. And it's not actually that little thing that was the problem. It was the fact that it was just that one thing too many, or the shift wasn't quite there. And so the balance of being able to do the big stuff and all that little stuff, the balance just wasn't there. And so it just tipped it. And whether it's the big thing that falls apart or all the little things that fall apart, it depends on where you are at the time. So I just wanted to tell you my little story, and say that yeah, some things in life are a myth, and you need to delve a little bit deeper and see, actually, is this something that I can do or not? And just because somebody tells me it's true, or I've seen something on TV, or I see other people all on social media and they can all do it and they're all fine, actually, is it all fine? Is it as I think it is? Or actually, is there more to it than that? So yeah, it's a myth that you can do everything. I may get shot down for that, that's fine, but it's a myth that you can do everything. You just need to work out what it is that you want to do and what support you've got to do all of that. If you've got something big that's happening, what support have you got for all those little things, and vice versa? Or if you've just got a pile of lots of little things or a pile of big things, again, that's okay if it works for you and if it balances out. But what support have you got for you? What do you need? What do you need to support that lily pad to stop it from sinking? So that's my little story for today. Nice to talk to you. Let me know any thoughts and whether this has happened to you. But I really do encourage you to look into what support you've got, what you can manage, and what things are you believing are true that aren't necessarily true.